Welcome to a 2v2 on Simoski Winter. This game is going to be Sidprolio and XMetal versus Cruzz and Kromz34. I recognize 3 of these players. Do not recognize Kromz34, so we'll see what he brings to the table. Apparently mechanized company and US forces. We're going to see mixed Axis versus mixed allies. All 4 factions present for this game.
4x4 just rolled onto the battlefield.
4x4 just rolled onto the battlefield. Thanks, Commander. Well, we'll put it to good use. It's a little messy. Did you guys hit a deer on the way here or something? Like, what is this? It's on its way north. It should be able to hard counter this Kuba wagon opening here from XMetal, hopefully. There are Sidprolios available to support, but with Riflemen also on the way, that engagement is basically won. No Grenadiers available to save the day. WC-51 goes in hard on the Kuba wagon. It's getting burst down by the Sturm Pioneers on its rear armor, though. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I think that was a good trade. It probably wasn't. XMetal's going to be able to salvage both of these in all likelihood. He's also going to beat the Rifleman right there. That engagement was done all wrong. All wrong. He definitely messed that up. Well, not great. Not a great opening there for Kromz. Meanwhile, Cruzz working on the center with his conscripts making their way towards the middle. Grenadiers engaging against conscripts here in the middle. It looks like Cruzz is generally winning the engagement. He's also got a little bit of support from his teammate from these riflemen, so Sidprolio is probably going to not be able to win this, especially without any suppression sources. He's just going to get overwhelmed by conscripts moving up from various directions, push those Grenadiers back into the base, and Cruzz will maintain control of the south fuel. Meanwhile, the north fuel has been taken by XMetal. He's salvaged the Kuba wagon and the WC-51, so he's kick-started his own fuel a little bit right there. Salvaging both of those, he might go tier 3, maybe. Tier 2 is pretty popular on this map. Placement can be risky though. If you place it in the central village, you're vulnerable to indirect fire. But against mechanized, yeah, and actually mechanized has the super duper bombs. So once I saw WC-51, I'd probably put mine in the base too. I think that's probably the right call. Depending, you know, on how the early game goes. You're sacrificing your early game a little bit for safety in the late game from artillery. But by sacrificing your early game, you may not even make it to the late game. So you have to weigh your options. Flamethrower in the church. 3 squads of Grenadiers over here on the left side, trying to push Allied infantry out of the cemetery if possible.
Our headquarters has been improved. We can now build light mechanized infantry.
Folks Grenadiers are engaging against those riflemen. Sturm Pioneers moving around on the flank, although I don't know if they can win this engagement. Another squad, rear echelon troops over there on the right side. If those riflemen are slow to switch targets, maybe these Sturm Pioneers can turn the engagement. They will react pretty quickly. Well, they reposition, but they don't switch target. There they go, firing on the Sturm Pioneers now. A little late on that target switching, though. They didn't get focus fire down on the approach, so they will make it to a cover position with 3 models remaining. I still don't know if XMetal can win this, though. Both of these remaining squads are very low. Sturm Pioneers just got a lucky snipe, and they all will retreat. Alright, so he will win the engagement. It looked a little close right there initially, but XMetal managed to take it. Even those rear echelon troops moving up to support during that could have potentially turned that in Kromz' favor. He's off to a pretty awful start, though, this game. I think he just bought an officer. He's also purchased a fuel cache, and he's going captain tier, so his early game is just abysmal. A dead WC-51, 200 manpower into a fuel cache and captain tier with 3 riflemen opening is pretty much one of the worst US forces starts I can even think of. No quick light vehicle. And he's also up against really passive battle group headquarters rather than any form of OKW tier 3, so the captain's bazookas won't even necessarily be that useful for a while. It will give him access to the pack howitzer though. Maybe they can use that to crack some of this Axis defense. Here in the south, Grenadiers taking control of fuel and strategic points. Good harassment by Cruzz all the way up to the Axis base right there with that conscript squad. Throwing up sandbags will slow the recapture of these resources. They're held by the Axis but not connected, so no fuel coming in. And MG in the church firing on various things. Grenadiers also positioned at range against Cruzz's combat engineers in there. Cruzz has not gone with a commander yet. It's got access to tank hunter, mechanized support, and guard motor. Fields 1 mortar to go with his 4 cons, 2 combat engineer, standard core out of a tier 2. Mortar should help him start pushing some of these forces out of the center. Meanwhile, Kromz is doing a good job of holding onto the north fuel. Apparently, XMetal has been pushed back. 1 MG inside this building. He's still trying to get some forces out onto the map to get that fuel point back under his control. He's got another MG on its way. He's going on a 3 MG34 build, which is quite risky. In 2v2, maybe a little bit less so. Especially if Cruzz maybe gets a half track. Or not Cruzz, Sidprolio maybe gets a half track to support him. And we'll see if that works or not. Fighting position going up right here to try and further defend the fuel point here in the north. And Sidprolio sending a scout car south. Try and push some of Cruzz's infantry away. Maybe get back control of the fuel cutoff. Stern Pioneers charging into close range on those suppressed riflemen will easily win that engagement. Whoa, what was that? Was that an AT gun shot? Yes, it was. AT gun snipes 2 Stern Pios. Wow. Very lucky snipe right there. MG34 firing at a few squads in this area. Wow, these snipes! Kromz getting those RNG snipes in, really hoping to shut down this push by XMetal. 2 Folks Grenadiers and 2 Stern Pios now to bazooka and AT gun fire, all in the same engagement. 50 cal upgrades on the fighting position. That should probably seal this engagement if those Folks Grenadiers don't get clear, which they do, just barely in time. MG34 has managed to suppress that. Really? Wow! That AT gun's better than a pack howitzer. That thing's gonna just chew through all of XMetal's infantry, apparently. He has been up against shot blockers, I guess, to be fair, but still, I think that's the best AT gun RNG I've ever seen. That is crazy. So he will hold on to the north fuel thanks to some really lucky snipes. Sidprolio pushing Cruzz back here in the south, gets back control of the cutoff, gets back control of the fuel. The mortar might have to pull back a little bit as well from the scout car. Cruzz is going to go tier 4, I suspect, for a Katusha. No commander selection yet. XMetal obviously has gone Luftwaffe. He has been Luftwaffe for a while, spamming those MGs pretty hard, and teching to tier 4. Probably going to make his way towards Panther, would be my guess. And then Sidprolio has not chosen any commander yet. He is not Battle Phase 2 either, just going tier 2 for now. He's got access to Lightning War, Joint Ops, and Spearhead, so no close air support spam or anything like that. But probably Tigers by the end of this. Unless it goes Joint Ops, which is plausible. See what he chooses to do. Grenadiers taking control of the strategic point right there. Riflemen taking control of the victory point there in the north.
This is a nice spot of land.
Grenadiers taking control of the fuel point in the south, and it looks like the map is slowly turning in favor of the Axis, although they haven't quite managed to break through on the fuel point here in the north yet. Scout car gets caught by AT grenade there, thanks to some excellent pathing. Some rifle grenade potential, maybe. Nope, he's too busy typing. Too busy typing his Twitch memes to micro that squad of Grenadiers.
Grenadiers reporting.
Stern Pioneers will salvage the destroyed scout car at least. More Grenadiers available for the engagement up here.
Grenadiers reporting objective capture. Your orders. Taking
conscripts are on their way around this flank. We'll move to engage against the MG inside this building instead, using Ura to split them. Only one of them will get suppressed, throws Molotov into the structure. Gets a crit, but not the gunner. Slowly burning the squad out. The machine gun will switch targets. By target switching, he will get both squads suppressed and win the engagement. So nicely played there by XMetal. I think he made the conscious decision right there not to leave the building, since he was like, I'm not taking that much damage from the Molotov. I'll just tank it and it'll be fine. Up here in the north, fighting position has been destroyed. I think the squad inside also wiped by Panzer Shreks, barbed wire, and fight another fuel cache going up right there. Looks like Kromz is maybe going to lose this engagement. He will dodge that grenade, fortunately, but he's still falling quite low with the captain rather than a lieutenant. Bazooka snipes will only get him so far. No, he will win. Okay. I think that was a slightly early retreat, though. Guess XMetal didn't want to spend any more on grenades. He had the manpower for Fallschirmjäger, by the way. He could have maybe turned that engagement with Falls. Not sure what I think about that retreat, especially with a Panzer II on the way. It's kind of a shame. Oh well. Cruzz has got his tier 4 up. No tier 4 unit yet. Can afford a Katyusha. Maybe he's gonna go Su-85 instead. Apparently Cruzz's hacks have bugged his mortar. I don't know what that means. Does that mean it like can't move? No. I have no idea what he's talking about. Panzer II engaging up here on the north rifles. Push that squad away. You can tell I don't play Soviets because I don't know what the bugs are that are associated with that particular squad. And it looks like Kromz is going to go Scott. He was stuck there for over a minute? Okay. Because they were on ice. Somebody licked the bottom of the mortar and then... That's a feature. That's a feature Cruzz. Ice bad. Oh, okay. That's a cute bug. Sure. Why not? Somebody add that to the Trello board that nobody gives a shit about anymore. Panzer Grenadiers going in on the, ooh, guards right there. Bit of a late reaction from Cruzz to that Panzer Grenadier squad. Forced to retreat, takes heavy damage, nearly a wipe. Get away. If he had reacted maybe one burst earlier, it probably would have been a wipe. Mortar hits those Panzer Grenadiers quite nicely. They'll be forced to retreat, but Cruzz is failing in this engagement. Will be pushed back since Sidolio is just too good. Sidprolio outplaying him hard at every turn.
Supply lines are being cut.
Panzer II moves towards the middle to support, and Cruzz has busted out the skill U-76. We'll force away that Panzer Grenadier squad apparently, see if he can make this unit work. To be fair, it makes sense in this situation. He's up against an Panzer II. Panzer II is actually one of the few things that the Su-76 can counter pretty well. So, ooh, and the Scott is softening it up nicely. The Su-76 might have an opportunity here. It's going in hard. I think it's gonna pick this up. Oh, it's so low. No. Oh, there it goes. Nice teamwork, actually. Scott did a lot of damage to that right there. Like a surprisingly high amount of damage to that Panzer II just from indirect fire. Panzerfaust on the Su-76, so it's going to have to pull back for repairs, but I think it's pretty safe unless a blob finds it. Ooh. Big hit from the Sky right there. Will pop smoke to get itself to safety. Su-76 will stop, apparently, on the ice. With infantry in front, pushing Sidolio's Grenadiers back. Cruzz should be able to get some of this territory under control. Up here in the north, the Scott continues to contend with various Over Commando West squads, trying to bleed them from range. Trying to punish this decision to go hard MG34s. Looks like it's doing alright so far, up to 6 kills. Not bad, not too shabby. Rear echelon troops nearby, available for repairs as well. There's one MG left in the south, which is not much. Scott has to pop smoke. That smoke, by the way, is not free. He's popped that twice. Needs to be a little, tighten up his Scott micro a little bit. Try and kite a little bit better. That's 60 munitions he spent on that now. Only the Over Commando West Super Duper AA half track gets free smoke. Everything else has to pay for smoke. Smoke is expensive. Rear echelon troops will be forced to retreat right there. Barrage firing. Oh wow, that's sneaky demo charge from Cruzz. How did he get that down? Sidprolio briefly off the field. Demo charge will wipe that squad, which means these grenadiers are going to have 2 LMGs, right? Or do they not have the slot? Yeah, they do. Why won't he pick that up? What's he doing? There he goes. Gets it at the last second. That, I think he was having trouble clicking on the weapon. Mortar bombarding the S-mine field might actually be able to get those clusters cleaned up. Panzer Grenadiers force minesweeper out of the building right there, and Fallschirmjäger have been deployed, making their way through the south. It looks like XMetal, after losing his Panzer II, rather than going to Panther, is going to go Stuka, which is a pretty solid unit on this map. See if he's able to make good use of that. He knows the Soviet player's gone tier 4, so yeah, a pretty decent amount of wriggle room on fuel before T-34s or whatever start arriving. And Cruzz is actually not guard motor, he went mechanized support, ISU, potentially later this game. And Kromz, as mechanized, obviously is just, he's American. Not going to be fielding NC8s, fielding Shermans. So, not too many super scary allied medium tanks this game. Going with Su-76, which means that the Allies' ability to hunt and kill a Stuka is going to be quite limited, making Stuka probably a quite good decision against, you know, pretty hard Soviet infantry. And actually also double American AT guns, so yeah, Stuka's a good call, I think. You're going to get good value out of that unit throughout the course of this game. Grenadiers engaging here in the middle, slowly pushing Cruzz back. Su-76 is up to 1 kill. It's killed nothing but the Panzer II. It did its one job. Oh, just kidding, it sniped a Grenadier just now. 2 Grenadiers, alright. Now it's picking up a little bit. Whoa, what is that Stuka doing? What is that? That had to be a bad rally point or something. It almost went down to Su-76 fire, diving the front line. Oh my goodness. Panzer Shreks will push the Su-76 back slightly. So it can't try and maybe hunt and kill the Stuka, which is being ridiculously bold. Why won't it just fire? What is it? What is he trying to kill stuff with the Hull machine gun or something? Two squads of guards on the field here for Cruzz, and the Stuka is firing somewhere. I think it might be trying to nail some guards on the retreat coming in back here apparently. Before being destroyed. What killed it? Oh, this Jackson! That sneaky Jackson from behind! Well, I have to say that's XMetal's own fault. I have no idea what he was thinking with that Stuka placement, but alright. I don't think his barrage even really killed anything either. At least the Jackson goes down in exchange. Sidprolio hunts it down with the Panther. Jackson gets picked up. Although, that's a pretty good trade. Jackson for Stuka, and not going to be another Stuka on the field for some time. Double AT gun moving up, and the double AT gun never got punished by that Stuka either. It gets a pretty good amount of damage off on that Panther before it pulls back to safety. But even with the death of that Stuka, the Axis have pretty much the entire map under their control. The Allies are struggling in their endeavors to take any territory back, mostly because the entire American force has just been parked on this fuel point. You need to take a little more than one fuel point as allies on Simoski Winter. He needs to either expand hard north and take these territories, or he needs to help his teammate in the central village, otherwise the game's just going to be prolonged. Which is not something you want to happen as mechanized company. Pretty weak late game, for the American player at least. MG34 making a slightly over-aggressive maneuver right there. Will get cleared by an Su-76 barrage up to 5 kills. Fallschirmjäger deployed out of this building to engage against some team weapons right here. Getting pretty good opening engagement for that unit. Forcing one to retreat, the other to reposition, pulling some other infantry back away from the front lines right there. Bundle grenade into the building against a minesweeper though. That's probably kind of a waste. Well, actually, he's got great map control, tons of munitions, not overly concerned about that. He doesn't have either transferability active right now, and he still has 52 munitions coming in, so airborne assault will probably be available to him soon. And Sidprolio, apparently, he's confident enough. He's like, I don't need a Tiger. I'm against Cruzz Su-76. I'm going to go join ops. So he's probably going to be throwing out one of these things at some point, I assume. And maybe transitioning to tier 4? Yes, there's tier 4. Oh, of course, he's had a Panther on field for a while. I'm silly. What was that? Was that an LEFH? Yes, there it is. LEFH right there. LEFH Panther combo. Bombarding Cruzz from a distance. There's the ISU for Cruzz. He has like a little baby assault gun and like a real assault gun. So, this is the assault gun-tastic Cruzz build.
Supply sector under attack.
And I think the ISU has some maps where it's better than most. This is a pretty good ISU map. Pretty good. Pretty good potential for an ISU to perform well. Can be difficult to flank it with a Panther or whatever. Panther working on guards down here in the south. Up in the north, MG34 pushes away that rear echelon troop squad. Most American forces still just idle up here. Really needs to like push a little, get aggressive, or at least if you don't think you can win an engagement on your own territory, you should just support your teammate if it looks like your teammate is struggling against a double team. Usually, though, you should just try and win an engagement on your side. Just try and push and take territory on your half of the map. Try and pull. The best way to support your teammate, I think anyway, is to pull your opponent's forces towards you by applying pressure on your own half of the map, putting pressure on the victory point. Fuel, victory point munitions and cutoffs up here. He will take up some of XMetal's attention as he makes another push for the fuel point, which will probably fail, by the way. Diving into 2 Scots with Fallschirmjäger is a pretty good way to lose manpower and accomplish nothing like that. Fallschirmjäger forced to retreat against those Scots. The Panther should maybe try and work on those Scots rather than the ISU and team weapons in the middle, although it seems to be doing alright. Panther clears a mortar right there. LEFH barrage coming down on the AT gun. Might clear it. No lucky shots yet, unfortunately. Oh! Nope, not quite. Almost. And, ooh, what's that? Mechanized artillery on Sidprolio's AT gun right there. I don't think he reacted, or if he did, not quick enough, and the AT gun goes down. Nice pickup right here by XMetal. He catches the Scot with bad pathing on this tree. That's dead. Oh, that last BM RNG shot right there, though. Scott takes the Folks Grenadier squad down with it. Double AT gun set up for this push. Sidprolio's going to have to flank from a different direction if he's going to take that Scott out, I think. Tries to snipe through the smoke, doesn't get lucky. We'll have to pull back to safety using Blitz just to be safe. And a couple rifle squads are taking control of the cutoff here in the north. I'm not sure if he's going to win this. He doesn't have grenades. MG was a little slow to set up, but he will get the squad suppressed and win that engagement. Riflemen have no choice but to retreat from that. And Obersoldaten plus Sturm Pioneers should be able to win an engagement against that lone rifle squad.
114 howitzers are prepped to barrage the battlefield.
Random mine sweep by SU-76 barrage. That's always nice. It's like finding money in your pocket. Oh, look, there was a mine right there on the road. How? That makes me feel good. Target destroyed.
Enemy tanks! Get out of the line of fire!
I'm gonna find some way to make this unit pay off. Panzer II down, mine successfully swept in 25 minutes. That's a solid SU-76. I would say that SU-76 is overperforming, if anything. ISU moves up here in the middle, starts taking shots at various squads in the area. Airborne assault getting called in on the... oh no, that's light artillery barrage. Airborne assault coming in on the fuel point up here. Doesn't look like the planes are really going to hit anything, but the Fallschirmjäger should maybe be able to get the fuel captured. Maybe get a Faust off on that Scott or something. I don't know. Pretty decent chance of that Scott just bleeding that. Light artillery barrage here in the middle did pretty okay damage to some of Cruzz's infantry. 2 wipes! Wow, that burst! That Panzer Grenadier burst. That was quicker than Cruzz was ready for, and he's lost almost all of his infantry forces. In fact, he started with a 4 Cons 2 Combat Engineer Corps. He's down to only 1 of either of those things. Just most of the team weapons remaining with his ISU. Working on Double Panther. Double Panther has a pretty decent chance of overwhelming him. He's very weak right here. That Panther doesn't like it. He's going to pull back to safety, and since Sidprolio can't go in hard with both tanks, he's just going to disengage. But he did pretty good damage to the ISU during that, which has switched to armor-piercing rounds and is going to start taking shots. AT gun plus ISU fire threatens to bring that Panther down pretty low. It's going to peek, which was maybe a dangerous thing to do. ISU needs to fire though. That hits the ground. Pulled back a little too far. He just really doesn't want to lose it. It's falling dangerously low, and he'd rather play safe with it and pull back to safety than try and gamble on sticking around for that engagement. But I think he probably could have killed that Panther right there if he had got the shot off from a more favorable position, from higher elevation. Gonna pull everything back to safety for repairs. LAFH bombarding this area. I think just sunk. No, firing at this pack howitzer. Has not quite managed to clear it. Cruzz being forced off the field, needs to go get things repaired, healed, and reinforced. A couple squads working here in the north. Rear echelon troops plus riflemen against those Volksgrenadiers. Scott also pushes away some Stern Pioneers. Might be a little bit overextended. This Scott has 23 kills. This Vet 3 doing quite well. There's a fresh Jackson on the field as well to try and deter any counterattack. One of the AT guns has been cleared. The other one pulled back slightly, but doesn't look like territory is really shifting. Brief harassment here by the Axis, just getting countered now. Kromz will get that all back under his control. He has access to another artillery barrage now as well, so Allies need to start thinking about the next push, but they also need to recuperate a little bit from the last engagement. Neither Panther destroyed, and there's now a Pack 43 up behind the church, so 2 Panthers plus Pack 43 is going to be pretty difficult to deal with, even for an ISU 152.
That's it. Points out.
Look at that. Look how slow that's falling down. That's so weird. Wow. I'm glad those Fallschirmjäger didn't just get nailed. Think. Panther firing at that Scott from range. Still no lucky snipes through the smoke. Double Fallschirmjäger. Ooh, he's microwing his Scott, not paying attention to those riflemen. Unmonitored. Get wiped. Wow. Going very hard against these American forces. Sidprolio is apparently going to disengage. Not sure if he wants to stick around for this or not. He is taking armor-piercing rounds from a AT gun way in the back, and engine damage right there. Panther will stick just long enough to pick up that snipe and finish off that Jackson. Picks up a Scott and a Jackson before pulling back to safety again, making pretty good progress here with support from his teammate. Quite a Fallschirmjäger blob making its way up here with almost all anti-infantry cleared. The Fallschirmjäger are going to just move through and laser beam all of these team weapons to death. I hear mechanized artillery being dropped. I don't know what that was targeting. I think AT gun maybe? Looks like I'm not sure. Something got wiped by that artillery, but fortunately the Panther did manage to get clear. Soviet bomb run just got dropped on the PAC-43, destroying the building as well. Grenadiers get out of the church just in time, but the PAC-43 will be destroyed. So that should open up opportunities for the Soviet assault guns to start working on the center again. ISU still needs some repairs. It's operating on half health. XMetal is going with, after losing Panzer II and Stuka, finally, 30 minutes in, considering how good their map control has been. King Tiger. King Tiger is on its way. And maybe that'll be able to start breaking through in a slightly more meaningful way here in the north, since it seems these Fallschirmjäger will be forced to retreat by the remaining Scott plus riflemen. So there they go. This King Tiger is on its way to the front line. Light artillery barrage being dropped. Will prevent that AT gun getting cleared, maybe destroyed entirely. Yep, pretty good spread. Pretty good spread. Had a nice tight spread. Maybe if I say the words tight and spread enough, people will come up with a hilarious joke. A hilarious dirty joke about light artillery barrage. Interesting grenade toss. I did nothing. Trying to clear that MG didn't quite work. MG34 here in the south will be forced to retreat away from conscripts. Might get wiped though. Yep, Vet 3 gun goes down. King Tiger here in the north working on this territory. Riflemen running. Looks like they will make a miracle escape. King Tiger moving up with Panther support and will clear that AT gun. 2 AT guns on the ice, however, to counter. That's probably too much AT for that King Tiger to take on. Maybe, I don't know. That one's cleared. Looks like they're going to pull back. They're a little close together, which on ice is extremely bad. Good way for them to sink. And the ISU is not available to support right now. Continues to defend territory here in the south, which Cruzz is trying to hold on to. He does have 2 stolen MGs. So that's going to help hold this territory, and the ISU will be a huge threat to any infantry that reveals itself as well. LEFH barrage on the ice is not going to do him too much, I don't think. I'm not sure if that AT gun is really off the ice. I could probably still sink. Whoa, the King Tiger just died? Wow. Alright. AT gun's positioned right there. AT gun wall for that King Tiger. Kills it, apparently. I don't know why XMetal would have just parked his KT in front of AT guns. Usually AT guns should only push a tank away, not actually just kill it. Apparently XMetal was paying about as much attention to that unit as I was, and it will go down. Wonder if Cruzz maybe got some really lucky RNG during that. No bounces. Not enough bounces. Fallschirmjäger deployed out of this building again. Clears that AT gun again. That's a shame too. That was the Vet 3 AT gun. I feel like the Allies should just blow up this house and be done with it. It's the second time Fallschirmjäger have been deployed out of that and been a nuisance for AT guns to deal with. But on the other hand, by allowing Fallschirmjäger to spawn from that building, he has a pretty good chance of just inflicting massive manpower bleed on his opponent. Like that. Squad gets wiped. So maybe Cruzz considers that a good trade and just let that house be and wipe the squad every time it pops out of there. Both Panthers rotate towards the south to engage against these 2 squads. 3 Panthers on the field for Sidprolio now, and I think he's going to try and maybe have a decisive engagement against that ISU. It's got engine damage. Panthers going in hard. Not enough supporting anti-tank in the area. Pretty sure that's going to be the end of that ISU. Abandonment crit, but the LEFH barrage coming in for this engagement will destroy it. think that SU-76 also, yes, has been destroyed. SU-76 down, ISU down, and Cruzz is reduced to another an SU-85. Interesting, intriguing. He wants something a little bit more mobile that can't be swarmed by Panthers, because now that he's already behind for fuel, he needs to rely on micro, not just super duper heavy assault gun. It just won't work against 3 Panthers. To be fair, XMetal has even fewer units than Cruzz right now. He's down to just Sturmpios and Fallschirmjäger and nothing else. It's just been getting destroyed this game. But Sidolio's army of 3 Panthers is going to be very difficult for the Allies to contend with at this point. They still have a decent amount of AT weapons laying around. Panther engaging at range against the SU-85 is actually falling a little bit low right there. Light artillery barrage on these forces might wipes the captain, forces a retreat from that machine gun. AT guns have been recruited with Scott support from the back and Packhauser support from the back to have a pretty good chance of pushing the Axis off the cutoff here. Have a brief moment of respite from these Panthers while they kind of need to pull back for repairs, but Fallschirmjäger are capturing all territory. A triple cap is still going against the Allies this game. And the Katyusha is on the field. Ooh, nice lucky wipe right there on that flamethrower squad, and the Katyusha's working on those. Fallschirmjäger might be another wipe. Kind of a late retreat, but I guess they're probably going to get away. Yes, they will be fine. Katyusha barrage comes to an end. Fallschirmjäger make their retreat. SU-85 is about half health, which means it's not really in any condition to engage against 3 Panthers. How's the LEFH doing? 17 kills, I guess that's decent. It's alright, pretty good performance this game, I would say. Helping move team weapons around, helping decrew them with lucky shots occasionally. It makes big engagements cooler, because there's like explosions and stuff. That's pretty much the best thing the LEFH can do for you. Add cinematic effects to big engagements. And that's the greatest ability of all. Sturm Pioneers pushing some units away right there. Lots of team weapons and our indirect fire making its way up here towards the fuel point. Try and get that under control. Sidolio currently mostly tied up here in the middle as the Allies try to grow their territory. But they're just 350 victory points behind and way behind on the only reason this game might be possible is because XMetal has lost everything he's fielded. But another King Tiger is already in production because of how good their map control has been. Kromz does have mechanized artillery in the bank. Every time he's dropped this, by the way, he's dropped it on a pretty good target. So he's been at least making pretty good use of that, taking out AT guns. Bunker might be a little light. Kind of a lot of munitions to spend just to take out a bunker. Ooh, we might get that. Okay, see, there you go. Folks, Grenadier Squad also wiped. That was worth it. Got good value. Good value. Plus Katyusha barrage coming in here in the middle, and you can already see, by the way, how aggressive battle group headquarters placement would have been punished this game by the Katyusha ISU mechanized artillery. So I do think this was a good idea, but on the other hand, that hasn't really helped with his unit preservation at all. So I don't know. Allied map control is growing now. It is growing. Sidolio was off the field repairing his Panthers. They're making their way back to the front line now. Vet 2 Panther right there. Another Panther on the field. 2 Vet 2 Panthers. 2 Vet 2 Oster Panthers is quite lovely. And that should really have no trouble dealing with anything. That should have no trouble killing Scots. That should have no trouble killing Katyusha. Even a way overly aggressive dive into the Soviet base would probably work, honestly. 3 Panthers. Pick up the SU-85 and the Katyusha. Probably pull back with at least 2 of them.
Squad of infantry has been killed. Death before retreat.
Gonna wait for his his teammates King Tiger to roll onto the battlefield. Hopefully this will perform a little bit better this game. King Tiger +3 Panthers. It will likely be impossible for the Allies to stop. Folks Grenadiers move up to engage against Riflemen right there. Force that retreat. Start getting the territory under their control. Panthers are going to blitz in on the Scots right there. Ooh. Doesn't like that engagement. Armor-piercing rounds get popped on the AT guns. He has to pull back. Panther falls to about half. Maybe he's gonna fire his LEFH on some of those team weapons while the King Tiger soaks up some of the damage here. King Tiger's already about 3/4, half. A lot of armor-piercing rounds penetrating. By the way, I don't know why he would have driven straight into armor-piercing rounds. I mean, those had already been popped on the Panthers. Kind of just giving the Allies free penetrating shots right there by not just waiting a good 15 seconds for the ability to end. Katyusha barrage on the Fallschirmjäger in the south is sadly off target. They're not reacting at all though. One stray rocket might connect. Nope. Pole barrage completely missed. Panther moves up to take a shot at the Su-85. Second Katyusha on the field now. Only 5 points left for the Allies. Wow, I didn't even notice that. Only 5 points left. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to break through anytime soon. 3 Panthers is just too much. And there it is. GG's being exchanged. Time has run out. Well played. Axis wins.